I'm Mike Bradner, and this is Capital Views, and we have with us Kathie Wasserman, who is the Executive Director of the Alaska Municipal League. And Kathie, let's talk about the big pension problem and the kind of difficulties it makes for municipalities.
Right now, we have, municipalities are capped. We pay 22% of our salary base towards the current cost of the pension and past costs to make up the unfunded liability, which is approximately $12 billion, give or take a zero. And we have agreed to do that. It is a bit of a struggle for many municipalities to pay that much, but right now all municipalities have budgeted that in, and I think are at least comfortable with that amount. We're very adamant that we don't want that percentage to go up.
Now that's 22% of payroll.
Of payroll.
The paycheck.
Yes.
That goes for that purpose alone.
Right, and approximately 13% of that is to pay off the unfunded liability, and the rest is current costs.
Now, we really went through two crises. One was right at the beginning of the 2000 decade, and that was the collapse of the dot-com industry. Mm-hmm. And then we thought we fixed that. Mm-hmm. And then we got hit again. Mm-hmm. So it's been a double whammy.
Yes.
So now, what's the governor proposing?
The governor has proposed infusing $3 billion into the fund. That will help pay it down and pay a bit of it up front when we know we have some of the extra money. His proposal is to take it out of the CBR, which of course would require a 3/4 vote. A bit difficult, but we don't know what position we'll be in on 25 years, and we would rather not saddle this with people 25 years down the line. This needs to be taken care of now as quickly as possible.
Now, as I understand it, that money will move over to the PERS account, which is invested far more aggressively. It'll earn a higher rate. So does that mean in theory that $3 billion still exists as a principle, or we hope it might?
We hope, yes. And there are some ideas out there, we have heard, where some people in the legislature would just as soon put it in a reserve fund and then draw it down as needed. Our take on it is it's needed right now. And when you put something in a reserve fund, that's so you might be able to dip into it if something else comes up. And
that usually means it has to be more conservatively invested with less yield to pay against.
And we don't want a future legislature saying, oh, well, here's this $3 billion, let's use it for capital projects or whatever, when we have such a huge looming debt that we have to deal with.
Now, we hear some discussion of possible pension bonds. Mm-hmm. And is it possible you could do both?
I believe that we all have to go together in order to do that, because we are simply subdivisions of the state, and this is the state's issue. The state will make the call on how we deal with it, how we solve it. We, again, will be part of the solution, whether we want to be or not, but we're willing to be part of the solution because some of the costs are ours as local governments. But the state will make the call.
But if the state opted to do pension bonds too, mm-hmm. then the idea is that its earnings are higher than the debt it takes.
I believe so.
The way it works. But communities, they couldn't possibly pay, the freight. What would it be if the state wasn't paying the deficit?
I believe the rate is up to about 36%. But at the very beginning of this whole debacle, I remember they before the system was blended, they came to some of the municipalities and said, okay, we've dealt with each municipality independently, and according to your records and your amount of retirees and whatever, here's the amount that you have to pay. And the one that sticks in my mind was a community up north, a fairly large community, that was told they would have to pay 140% of salary. I would say it would take them about 2 weeks before they were bankrupt or before they were belly up. I mean, nobody can pay 140% of anything.
But that community had made some negligent actions, but that didn't make the problem go away.
Well,
I mean,
that
it was there.
particular community at the time made a decision that they thought was smart for them. They had sold off a utility which had some employees. And then when the PERS system, when the solutions started to come forward, then it came to the point that it was going to really hurt these communities that had done that sort of thing. So that's when we started to talk about, we need to find another solution. So the system was blended, and we all pay 22%, including the state.
And that's the kind of situation where you have the taxpayers on one side, you have your council on the other side, and the council really has to look over their shoulder and the taxpayers, they want the money and reduce taxes now, but the council's job is to get them where they have to be 4 or 5 years from now.
Right, and communities don't want to have such a huge debt that their community is taxed out of existence far into the future. I mean, right now it's at least manageable, and we need to keep it manageable.
Kathie, we're out of time. I'm Mike Bradner, and this is Capital Views, and we've been talking to Kathie Wasserman, who is the Executive Director of the Alaska Municipal League, which is a tough horse to ride. Thank you, Kathie.
Thank you.